Welcome to Varsity Voices Girls Basketball. I'm Jeff DiVeronica. He's James Johnson, or you can introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone.
James Johnson. Here to talk about the Section 5 championships and some of the top classes. These games will be going on Friday and Saturday. Some great matchups, James, and I'm going to pat myself on the back. I think I did pretty good predicting some finalists here. I know the AA is certainly right. Mercy and Kearney. I know that I got the A1 right, Mendon and Irondequoit. Sorry, Brighton. And I also, I know I had HFL in the finals. I think I picked Wilson, the city team, to get there. We're going to talk about them all here. And let's start with A1. This is A1 and A2 are Friday night at Eastridge High School. The A1 game is the nightcap. It's Pittsford Mendon, the top seed, unbeaten at 22-0. They play against Irondequoit, the 3 seed, 15-7 for Scott Smith team. And I think...
is anyone going to stop Mendon? I guess that's...
Well, no one has it to date, and I don't see it happening here. I mean, I think Irondequoit's had a season where they probably have maybe overachieved a bit. And the terrific freshman, Atlanta Page. And I just think Mendon's got too many weapons. They have too many veterans. It's a senior team. This is a classic Todd Julian team, really. I mean, I wouldn't say he's had teams with better basketball players, but I think this is a group of athletes.
Big game experience.
Absolutely, and not just in basketball either. I mean, these are girls that are lacrosse stars. They've played on good soccer teams. I think it was Sarah Lyons telling me at the Section 5 championship luncheon that they also in soccer. This was a group that did not win a lot in the regular season, and then they went into the sectionals as underdogs and won a couple of games. So they kind of learned from that experience that, okay, now we are the top seed in basketball, but anybody can beat us, and that's a pretty good mindset to have, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. How did he kind of put this team together?
It's a good program now. I mean, Todd Julian's been there, I think, 15, 16 years, and they won in 2011, 13, 15. Like we said, odd number of years. It could be a Mendon championship. But, it took a long time for them to finally get back in the winner's circle with Todd Julian as coach. And I can tell you, I know this from talking to him, it weighed on him. There was a bunch of near misses in the finals. But now, there's a winning mentality throughout the whole, really the whole group of girls on this team and other sports too. So I think Mendon's going to handle this game pretty easily. Irondequoit, their only losses are to AA teams. But you can make a case that if it's Mercy and Kearney, the next best team in Section 5 is Mendon, probably. Yeah, Penfield might have a bit of a beef there, but I think Mendon beat Penfield.
Yeah, so I could see that.
Mendon's rolled so far, 66-21 over Athena, and took care of business against Canandaigua, 50-34. Most impressive about this group is, again, I don't think they have a pure. I mean, Sarah Lyons is really good. Mackenzie Wynn's a good point guard. Caroline Coleman gives them something down low. They got a couple sophomores that are good rebounders, but defensively, they're only allowing 30.9 points per game in the last 11 games. That's no short span of time. That's not a snapshot. That's half the season, right?
Right.
So I think defensively they're too tough, and I think Mendon will keep the odd year championship thing working for them. Mendon will march on, and then they'll probably have a really tough game in the regionals against Williamsville South. That's a team that they beat earlier in the year, one of their toughest games. That'll probably be the team coming out of Section 6. So
defense wins.
Defense does win this time of year, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
In A2, it's two teams really thirsting for titles here. I mean, HFL, we know, a very tradition-rich program, but it's been a while since the Cougars have won a championship, since 2008. Steve Willoughby's been there a long time, one of the winningest coaches in Section 5. They're the top seeds, they're 18-4, and they certainly didn't have an easy road here. They did beat Batavia, avenging a loss last year, 53-36, and then they had a tough time with Wayne.
Yep.
56-53, I think Maddie Meehan had to make a very big block late in that game for HFL to prevent a three-point shot, possibly tying the game up for Wayne. So tough defensively, HFL. They got a good lead player in Taryn Wilson. She just went over 1,000 points, so that's a bit in the semifinals. That's a good confidence for her. This is a tough one to call, James. I mean, I know you know a little bit more about Wilson. Let's talk about the Wildcats and trying to make a little history for the city.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a team that can put up points. They've never been in the finals before, and they would really like to make history for their program.
Beat Pittsford Sutherland 80-72 in the semifinals, and this is really historic for the city if they can do this. East won a couple years ago, 2012, first title in a long time, in almost 20 years since Edison in 1996. And that East team went on to win the state championship. And it's really cool to see the Wilson girls are good. Edison girls were good this year. Some of those girls city girls are playing with Kearney. Good talent there too. So there's talent in the city. It's good to see these girls getting out and playing on these teams. But this would be only the 8th championship for a city team for girls basketball. Got to go all the way back to Madison won a couple in the late 70s and early 80s. Monroe won one. So this would be pretty cool for Wilson if they can get this done. This is kind of a 50-50 game for me. I don't think HFL has seen a team like Wilson.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is a pick'em game. Who you like? Wow.
I'm going to go with HFL.
You're going to go with HFL?
It's going to be an outstanding game. It's going to come down to the end.
I agree.
I'd be willing to.
I agree, I just think there's something about this Wilson team. Mm-hmm. They come in with a 12-9 record. They've taken some lumps. I think they've really kind of found themselves here. It's gonna be a great game. I'll go other side here. I'll pick the Wildcats here, and the city will get another championship. So that should be a great one. That's 6 o'clock at Eastridge on Friday night. All right, let's go to the granddaddy of them all, the big one on Saturday night at Rush Henrietta. Before this game, actually, there's kind of a cool thing. Before the AA championship, I want to mention that in Class B, the 5 o'clock game at Rush is actually Minders, the top seed, against Waco, the number 2 seed. And you've got, the interesting storyline here is Coach Al Best. He's been coaching since before I was born, and I'm not even sure I've been exaggerating there. But he's trying to win a Section 5 title with a 4th different school. Never been done before.
Yeah, that's Hall of Fame material.
Arcadia, Athena, and Minders. Minders are a very proud program that kind of fallen on hard times a few years ago.
Yeah.
He went out to Seneca Falls, kind of built the program up, won a couple titles, moved on to Waco. They needed someone to build their program back up, and he's done that.
Yeah.
They were runners-up last year. So he's going against his old team.
How does he do it, Jeff? I mean, that's not something not a lot of people can do.
No, it's basically, he's tough on him. And I can tell you firsthand that a couple of Monroe County schools missed out on getting Al Best a few years ago when he was a free agent. And that's a shame on them. But he coaches defense harder than almost anybody I've ever seen in girls basketball. Okay. If you don't play defense, you're not getting the floor. So, so I think that's a big part of it. Even Alex Button, their terrific junior, who's a D1 player, he's talked about how she's been a fantastic scorer. She's really learned how to play defense the last year and a half. So,
you think it'll be a low-scoring game?
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I haven't seen the teams play, but I think if Al Best has his way, it will be a low-scoring game. We'll see. All right, so back to AA. AA, it's the teams that we all thought were going to be here. Yeah. Top-seeded Mercy against Kearney, a number 6 seed. Don't worry about the seed.
No.
This will be the 3rd straight year playing for a championship, James.
These
2 teams are fun to watch.
You still like the young squad?
Did I like them before?
Yes.
When?
Bishop Kearney.
On camera, did we talk about this?
I think so.
We did?
You got pretty excited.
I do like Bishop Kearney. I actually think Bishop Kearney's going to win this game, and I'm going to tell you how. I think that, and I know the folks at Mercy aren't going to like this. Again, I'm not rooting for anybody. This is what I think. I think these Mercy these Kearney guards, they've been fearless all year long.
Yeah.
The other night, they beat up Penfield and 64-56. I just think they've come of age, and I think they're going to create a lot of trouble. For the Mercy getting the ball to the court. I saw it happen in the first matchup. I could see it happening again. Katie Titus, she's good. Ruth Combe for Mercy, she's good too. I think the best player on the floor is probably Treva Breedlove, but I think there's just so many waves of weapons that Kearney can beat you with now. I mean, these girls can shoot it. Allure Simmons look healthy and tough, plays good defense. If it's a close game, I'm going with Mercy. I think Kearney showed me some cracks in their armor late in the game, some bad decisions, I thought, in trying to seal off that game against Penfield the other night. Mm-hmm. But Mariana Freeman, I think she's one of the best guards in Section 5. She's an 8th grader. She can shoot it. She made 4 threes the other night.
So if Kearney jumps out to a lead,
I don't know.
You really like them.
Oh, I think there's a toughness with this Mercy team. Don't get me wrong. But I think the Mercy zone, I think there's quickness there from Kearney that can get inside that zone. And I think some of the young kids for Kearney, we didn't mention Sanaya Wilson, right? But LaToya Baker, one of their sophomores, she had 15 rebounds, 17 rebounds the other night, 12 points. She's better than she was last time. And also, Kearney, this is the biggest reason I'm picking Kearney, okay? They had foul trouble in the first 2 matchups against Mercy. Really didn't play with a full deck. Now, Honeoye Wilson needs to stay out of foul trouble. She's got to deal with 2 bigs down low.
Right.
But even if she has a very average game, and she had 2 points the other night,
Just
and they beat,
being on the floor.
Yeah, I think they can beat her. They can beat them. They can beat Mercy without her having a big game. I think the other girls have gotten that much better. So, call it an upset. Kearney won 2 years ago. Mercy won last year. A nice little streak now for Mercy. But 8 of the last 10 matchups have been decided by single digits. So It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game, which, again, what I just said was if it's close, I think I'm going to go with Mercy. But I don't know. There's something about this Kearney team that I think, when you're that young, you don't really feel the moment.
They just go running on out there.
They're good. I mean, they're fun to watch. I mean, this can be high level. I was watching the games the other night, the semifinals, with some of the county coaches right nearby, and you could just hear them oohing and eyeing when they saw the Kearney players with the way they play the game. These girls are ballers. Not to say the Mercy girls aren't, but these girls are 8th graders, and they play like they're on the playground, and you don't see that a lot from girls. So I think that's going to suit them well. I think maybe they've gotten a little bit better than Mercy has throughout the course of the year. Mercy's won the first 2 matchups this year. We'll see what happens. It should be dynamite. Rush Henrietta, 7 o'clock. So did you pick a team to win this game?
I'm going to go with Kearney.
You're going to go with Kearney, too?
Yeah.
Good news is for you, Mercy, is we had some of the boys' games wrong. So, all right. So enjoy the games. Enjoy the weekend. Say hello if you see us out at the ball games. And thanks for watching us right here, DemocratandChronicle.com on Varsity Voices.